Good morning to you. Mark Sutton with HurricaneTrack.com here with your hurricane outlook and discussion for Tuesday, September the 4th, 2018. The map is busy this morning. We do have several areas as we thought we would in September as conditions changed and became more favorable. And here we are. We have Gordon not very strong, which is excellent news. Recon is out there sampling it now. The pressure may be down just a little bit. We'll take a look at this in more detail in just a moment. Here is Florence, the subject of a lot of talk that it may end up heading towards the United States at some point. Obviously, that is so far out in time that a lot can change by, even just 5 days from now. And then a new system, 92L, 70% chance of development, a much lower latitude that this one is beginning at, and so it'll probably track more to the south with time heading off in this direction. And you want to watch this in the islands, as you would. You don't need me to tell you that. You're hurricane savvy, even if it's by default. I mean, look at last year. If you don't know hurricanes by now, I can't help you at this point. So definitely, tropics are active. We have a lot to monitor. So let's take a look at the details here. This is from, let's see if they have updated it for the 8 a.m. advisory. Yep, 7 a.m. Central Time, 8 a.m. Eastern. Let's see if it's in the public advisory real quick. Gordon moving steadily towards the northern Gulf Coast, expected to make landfall tonight. So they still have it, the pressure 1,004. Winds are 65, but that's going to be in some of those squalls that I'll show you, mainly on the east side. Still have storm surge warnings. Storm surge watch, the hurricane warning, although I don't think that Gordon can become a hurricane. But you only need a small area, a band of deep thunderstorm activity where the wind is gusting, 75, 80 miles per hour, even sustained winds, 60 to 70, that can cause some problems. The whole thing does not have to be this round, well-developed hurricane to be a hurricane. Any one of the quadrants of the storm that gets a hurricane measurement from the recon, it'll be called a hurricane. So we'll watch it on radar over the next 12 to 18 hours as it closes in, and we can see what happens. Again, the hazards impacting land, this is what I want to talk about. Storm surge, possibly 3 to 5 feet. If Gordon does not strengthen more, then it'll be closer to that 3-foot range. There'll be some larger waves in the normally placid Gulf and the normal areas that around this area, Mississippi, Louisiana, and even parts of Alabama that do flood with an oncoming storm. This will, exacerbate that, and you know what to expect already. But just kind of highlighting it here, 4 to 8 inches of rain, possibly a foot in some places. It's a tropical storm. It's headed towards the coast, and it needs to be respected, if you will, and not just taken lightly. Very heavy rain bands, traveling along I-10, that can be a big problem. I see people out there, they're going 90 miles an hour sometimes. You can't do that when it's raining hard. Big, fat tropical raindrops. And then, as I mentioned, tornadoes are possible this afternoon through tonight near the coast of Mississippi, Alabama, and the Florida Panhandle. So we'll have a full advisory from the Hurricane Center at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Here is a still image. It's not animated, and there's Gordon right in there. Kind of has a comma shape to it, trying to curl up, but it's still having some issues. This is a nice animation from the College of DuPage site, and here you can see the evolution over several hours. In the center of circulation, right in here somewhere, it does appear, and you can see that it's not very well organized. It does have warm water to work with, and it does have some real estate left from the point that it's at now until it comes in here to the Mississippi coast throughout the day and towards this evening into late tonight. So there's still time for this to ramp up a little bit more, but again, the main issue here, and I'm going to try to draw this as best I can. You got I-10 that comes across and, Mobile Bay through Mississippi and then down into Louisiana, and I guess it goes and splits through New Orleans, and then you get whatever. I don't remember the exact location of the split there, but all this weather is headed towards that major travel corridor. And remember, my job is to bring awareness to you about these impacts. And so if you're traveling, or you're a trucker and you're heading across that corridor, that's a lot of heavy weather coming your way. Just because it might not become a hurricane or it looks disorganized now, again, don't ignore the fact that it's a tropical storm, and the very heavy bands of showers and thunderstorms from time to time will make travel difficult at times along that corridor, I-10. And then this will all spread inland over parts of Mississippi, Louisiana, and eventually into Arkansas and eastern Oklahoma. Let's just go look at the track map one more time. So once it makes landfall, you got all this area up through here that's going to have a lot of rain, and even the possibility of severe weather after this makes landfall. During the daytime heating, watch for that uptick. Probably we'll see some tornadoes in some of the bands from this. So it's not over once it makes landfall. All right, just want you to keep that in mind. Looking at the radar, here it is out of northwest Florida. These bands still offshore just enough, but they're going to be moving northward quickly. Quickward is not a word. Maybe it could be. Northward very quickly as this moves along, 15, 17 miles per hour, something like that. Looking at the western extension here from the Mobile radar, some of these extreme outer bands indirectly associated with Gordon pushing closer to the Mississippi Sound, and from here conditions will deteriorate. Not much of an onshore flow yet, but just to let you know, once Gordon gets up here, and we do get that onshore flow in that right front quadrant, and this is different, when you have a hurricane coming in from the south, it's usually this quadrant here. With this one coming from the southeast, the water will pile up most efficiently probably in Hancock County, a little bit on the western parts of Harrison. So, we'll see. And it could even get over here towards southeast Louisiana, depending on where Gordon ultimately ends up. If it's closer, by the way, with the track into Biloxi, for example, you could pile up some water pretty efficiently on the west side of Mobile Bay, maybe over here towards Gulf Shores, Fort Morgan. It just depends. That cannot be, perfectly forecast even this close to landfall, especially with a system that is struggling. It may try to organize right before landfall. You never know. That's why the watches and warnings are up through this area. Make sure people are aware. Use common sense. Be careful out there, all right? So Florence, we'll worry about Florence later. Gordon will be inland by late tonight. And then again, the flood and severe weather risk, heavy rain will spread inland from there. And we'll see what happens. We have plenty of time to watch these other features way out in the tropical Atlantic. It's only September 4th, and we have a lot going on. All right, so I'm going to head out in the next little while and start setting up equipment. If you are following along and are part of the new and really awesome Patreon, pay attention to that. They have an app, of course, the website interface, our HurricaneTrack Insider site, and our app, Hurricane Impact. The cameras, the weather stations will all be fed into those, and then I'll do screenshots and tweet and talk about it on Twitter. In addition, I will have the live YouTube feed going. Everybody will be able to watch that. That's freely available to the public. If you're subscribed to my channel on YouTube, make sure you set your notifications on, and when I go live, you'll know. And I'll be streaming on that platform on YouTube Live as long as I'm capable of doing it. As long as we have a signal and everything's working, I'll be live. So that'll be up and running within the next hour or so. All right, that's it from me for now. I'll have another update this evening. Probably just do it live on the YouTube feed. Why not? I am Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack.com. Thanks as always for tuning in, and I'll be with you throughout the rest of the day, starting in about an hour.